ओम अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरुन् वैष्णवांश्च। श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवम् श्री राधा कृष्ण पादान सहगणा ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितं च। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीन बंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांता राधा कांता नमस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरंगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। मुखं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्य ईश्वरम्। Hare Krishna. So we are continuing on fourth chapter. Last week we saw acronym for this chapter is ears, because our spiritual life begins with hearing. Um, in fact, yesterday I was discussing with a group of devotees that when we read, we remember something, but most of the thing we actually remember is what we have heard attentively. So attentive hearing is very important aspect for progress in our spiritual life. Another reason the word ears is used is because the name of the chapter is transcendental knowledge, and that enters through ears. Um, E stands for eternal education, and we saw last week. First, Krishna gave this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita to sun god Vivaswan. Vivaswan gave it to Manu. Manu gave it to his son Ikshvaku. And like that, the knowledge was coming down. At some point of time, the succession was broken, um, and the knowledge appears to be lost. And because there is no knowledge to guide people in general, what is right, what is wrong, people started acting based on their understanding, and adharma grew. And that's why krishna comes krishna comes again in order to re-establish the dharma. And um, yada yada hi dharmasya glanirбhavati bharata abhyutanam adharmasya. And here it says paritranaya sadhunam, um, to protect, to deliver the pious, vinashaya cha dushkritam, to annihilate um, dushkrita, or those who are against principles of dharma, dharma samsthapanarthaya, to establish dharma, sambhavami yuga yuga, I come yuga after yuga. So this is the last slide that we covered last week. Okay, so that was about history, then entrance qualification. We saw the qualification required to understand Bhagavad Gita is that we should be devotees of Krishna. Um, Devotees of Krishna means we should be favorably disposed. A devotee of Krishna sees everything that happens in his life as Krishna's mercy. Whether good thing happens or bad thing happens, he does not loses his faith in Krishna. That is what is called devotee. Um, Sometimes what happens when things don't go according to their desire, people have tendency to find fault in Krishna also. Krishna, why are you doing this to me? Now that's not really being a devotee. That's being that means as long as Krishna does what I want him to do, I will serve him. And if he doesn't do as per my desire, I will stop serving him. That's not being a devotee. Being devotee means, um, my Lord, you can do whatever you want to me. I am yours. I am willing to go through happiness. I am willing to go through distress. Um, I only want to act as your servant in all situations. And that's being a devotee. So a devotee is favorably disposed to Krishna, good or bad. So Krishna says entrance qualification is you should be a devotee of Krishna. To the extent we are devotee of Krishna, we can understand this message of Bhagavad Gita. And then we saw that now this is what we are seeing today, graduate success. What do we get? If I understand Bhagavad Gita, what will be the result? And Krishna says here, Janma karma cha me divyam, evam yo veti tatvataha, taktajeham puna janma, naiti mameti sovarjuna. Janma karma cha me divyam. Janma, my birth, karma, my activities, cha me divyam. Divya means transcendental. Now, this is one mistake a common man does, is they think that Krishna's appearance, disappearance and activities are material. This is a problem of a spirit soul who is trying to make progress. Um, um, just like um, um, people have a tendency to see what happens is until we are pure, we have fault finding tendencies, and um, we try to see everything around us based on our consciousness, and that's how we start finding fault in others. um, um, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur said, um, if you see fault in others, that's because those faults exist in us. um, A pure devotee does not see fault in anyone because he does not have any faults. The reason I am telling this is, suppose um, sometimes people judge Krishna because um, Krishna um, had many queens in Dwarka, and Krishna has many pastimes, and sometimes people have a tendency now what happens is we try to think, if Krishna has so many queens, then why would I want to have so many queens? And because this will be my reason to have so many queens, that's why Krishna had so many queens. So basically, we are because we are contaminated by material modes. When we hear Krishna's pastimes, we try to think that he is also contaminated by material moods, by material desires. Inherently, we compare Krishna to us and we superimpose our consciousness onto Krishna. Um, um, or, in other words, we are telling that Krishna activities are material. Everything that Krishna did is transcendental. And that comes in the master level study. This study of Bhagavad Gita is a bachelor level. It's a beginning study just to understand the science of spirituality. Krishna's pastime comes in Srimad Bhagavatam, which is advanced course. But here Krishna is giving this understanding that my activities are transcendental. My activities are not material. Janma karma cha me divyam. And my appearance is also not material. If you see how Krishna appeared in the mind of Vasudev. From the mind of Vasudev, he was transferred to the mind of Devaki, and from the heart of Devaki, he came out in four-handed Narayan form. And both Devaki and Vasudev surrendered as soon as they saw Lord Narayan. And then Lord Narayan um, assumed his original two-handed Krishna form. So that's how Krishna appeared. Krishna didn't appear like a normal child appears. Um, there was no physical contact also between Vasudeva and Devaki. Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead. And when he appears as Narayan, he told Vasudeva, you both were my great devotees in the previous life. You both performed austerities for many, many years, and because of which I was pleased with both of your devotion, and I gave darshan to you. I appeared in front of you. Now, these are not just some mythological stories to hear and feel good. If we become such a devotee, Krishna will give appearance to us also. He had shown his mercy to many devotees, but it requires a great qualification um, um, to receive that kind of mercy of Krishna. Um, um, Vasudeva and Devaki in previous birth were great devotees of the Lord, because of which the Lord became so pleased that they got darshan of Narayan. And then they asked Narayan. Narayan asked them, how how can I please you? Ask me for a benediction. And Vasudeva and Devaki in their previous birth said, we have a desire to have a son like you. And Narayan said, well, there is nobody exists who is like me. I will myself appear as your son in the next birth. And in the next birth, they appeared as Vasudeva and Devaki. And Lord Vishnu reminded them, um, that's why I appeared to both of you. Um, so Krishna's disappearance, it is said that when Krishna disappeared, um, it was time for Krishna's disappearance, and a hunter shot an arrow. Um, the hunter was Vali from previous life. Long story short, but Lord Ram tell them that in my next appearance, you will become the cause of my ending the earthly pastimes. So that's why Lord used the hunter. And the hunter shot an arrow onto the anklet. It touched the anklet of Krishna, and Krishna defined that instant because he gave the benediction in the previous birth to end his earthly pastime. And Krishna, along with his chariot, went up with a speed of mind. He went up so fast, he just flew, because Krishna and his chariot both are transcendental. They both flew with the speed of mind that only Brahma and Shiva took darshan of Krishna when Krishna was disappearing. And Krishna went back to his original abode. So, appearance, janma, birth, karma, activities, janma karma chame divyam of his of Krishna are divyam, transcendental. Um, Evam yo veti tattvataha. And Krishna says, those who knows this, those who knows that my birth and activities are transcendental, tyaktva deham punarjanma naiti. Tyaktva deham. Deha means body. Tyaktva is giving up the body. Tyaktva deham. After giving up this body, punarjanma naiti. Punarjanma is rebirth, another birth. Punarjanma naiti. He does not take another birth. Tyaktva deham punarjanma naiti soiti mam Arjuna. Mam is me. Soiti. Soiti mam means he comes to me. So Krishna is telling one who knows that my activities and my appearance and disappearance, everything is transcendental. It's not a material activity. After they give up this body, they don't take another material birth, but they come to me and they become liberated. They come to me in the spiritual world. Um, um, in future discussions, out of the scope of today's presentation, we will discuss about what is spiritual world, what exists, what activities happens there, and yeah, activities of spiritual world. When we hear spiritual world, we will develop great attraction for it. Only then will we develop a desire that I want to go there. Because of unknown, because we don't know what exists there, we have no idea. Then we think, what will I do after going there? Uh, what do I do? I am happy here. That's because of lack of knowledge. And Srila Prabhupada said ISKCON is a educational institute. It's not just a temple. It's an educational institute. And in fact, Srila Prabhupada said the reason I'm opening so many temples is so that people can come to the temple and hear about spirituality. We may go to so many temples, nobody gives knowledge. Everywhere we go, we take darshan, we ask for a material desire, and then we come out. And we feel little bit peaceful because naturally um, um, the place has and the ether has that bhakti. So when we enter that kind of environment, become peaceful, we ask for a material desire will come out. um, but ISKCON is meant for education. Bhagavad Gita is meant for education, and Vedic scriptures are meant for education. Those are given here. um, okay, so this is the graduate qualification. One who understands Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, they become free from lust, anger, envy, greed, pride. Their heart becomes pure. They become fully absorbed, and they do not have to go through cycles of birth and death, birth after birth. Now, now we come to the another subject, which is accurate understanding. Um, E stands for eternal education. We discuss how Bhagavad Gita is eternal. It's coming down since time immemorial. At one point of time, knowledge was lost. It was given again by Krishna, um, um, because adharma arose because of no Bhagavad Gita. Krishna spoke that again. Krishna spoke to Arjuna because he was a devotee. One time, one devotee asked Srila Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Arjuna had Krishna to hear Bhagavad Gita, but we don't have Krishna speaking Bhagavad Gita to us. On that, Srila Prabhupada said, if you receive Bhagavad Gita uh, in a systematic manner, because these words are directly spoken by Krishna, we are directly associating with Krishna. There is no difference between hearing Krishna's words either through a through an instrument or through Krishna directly, because the words are the same. The words are the same. So we can also have we will also be equally benefited to the extent we are eager, and to an extent we surrender to this knowledge. Surrender to the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita means I will accept the authority of Krishna. Srila Prabhupada said, we are accepting so many authorities. We go to, there are so many people who speak about spiritual life and we take them very seriously. We heard some story here and there from somebody. We read some people's book here and there, and we form our conception about spiritual life. But if you really want to have a most authentic understanding of spiritual science, accept the perfect authority, the source of all authorities, Krishna, and accept everything that is mentioned in Bhagavad Gita. And if you form your understanding of spirituality around Bhagavad Gita, your life will become perfect. And you will have complete clarity about spiritual life. No questions will remain. Everything will become like crystal clear. Just patience, and keep listening and keep understanding. Let's see what Krishna unfolds for all of us through these chapters. Now, accurate understanding. There are a lot of misconceptions around spirituality, and Krishna is trying to remove those misconceptions in these three verses. ये यथा मां प्रपद्यन्ते तंस्तथैव भजामि अहम् मम वर्तमानुवर्तन्ते मनुष्य पार्थ सर्वसः ये यथा मां प्रपद्यन्ते. Prapadyante is surrender. Ye yatha mam prapadyante means as one surrenders onto me. In a manner and mood people surrender onto me. Tam stathaiva bhajamiham. I reciprocate with them accordingly. As one surrenders, I reciprocate accordingly. Mama vartamanu vartante. Everyone, mama vartamanu vartante, manusya partha sarvasa. Manushya is all human beings. Manushya. Sarvasa. Manushya Partha. Partha is calling out to Arjuna. Oh Arjuna, uh, Manushya Sarvasa. All human beings. Mama Vartamanu Vartante. They are following my path. Everyone is worshipping me. Everyone. Whether it is materialist, devotees, or everybody is following the path of Krishna. Now, let us go a little bit detail on this, some reflection on this verse. Our progress is based on our surrender. Um, as to the extent we are sincere in practicing Krishna consciousness, to that extent we advance spiritually. According to our sincerity. That's what Krishna says, Ye yathamam prapadyante tam tataiva bhajamiham. As you approach me, I reciprocate accordingly. You take 10 steps towards me, I will take steps towards you. Some people say 100,000 million, doesn't matter. Nowhere Krishna says that. But Krishna did say, I will reciprocate according to how you approach me. As you surrender, I reciprocate accordingly. If you surrender 5%, Krishna will reveal to you 5%. If you surrender 50%, Krishna will reveal to you 50%. Based on based on you. Don't wait for Krishna to reciprocate with you before before you start worshipping Krishna. In fact, Krishna says, you approach me, in a way you approach me, I will fulfill, I will reciprocate accordingly. One time, one devotee asked a spiritual master of Srila Prabhupada, his name was Shishimad Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj. This devotee asked Saraswati Thakur, Maharaj, why is it different people are interested in spiritual life? They all are trying to practice. Some makes so much progress in a year, and others are hardly able to make any progress. Why is there a difference, although they are both practicing? And Saraswati Maharaj said, based on surrender, based on how eager one is, with how much eagerness one is willing to follow Krishna's instruction, how many steps you take towards Krishna, that much advancement you will make according to surrender. Krishna reciprocates according to how you approach him. Now, what if I don't want to believe in Krishna? Some people say, well, I don't believe in Krishna. I don't think there is even God. I don't think there is any. I am just a body and I will die. I am just bundle of chemicals and that's all I am. Okay. Krishna will reciprocate accordingly with you. How does Krishna reciprocate? Krishna will give you. See, Krishna is sitting in our heart as Paramatma. We have the free will to desire. We can desire anything. Based on our desire, Krishna will reciprocate according to our desire. If we want to become atheist, Krishna will give us conviction from within how there is no supreme personality that exists. How we are just bundle of chemicals. Krishna will give you that inspiration. If you want to believe, my Lord, you are doing everything, Krishna will give you the inspiration how Krishna is doing everything according to how you approach him. Nobody can become theist or atheist. Theist means worshipper of Supreme Personality of Godhead. Atheist means who don't believe in that. Whatever is your desire, only by the mercy of Krishna can we develop those thoughts, because that's how we approach Krishna. What if I worship Krishna for material things? Krishna will fulfill your material desires. Ye yatha mam prapadyante tam sataiva bhajami aham. As you approach me, I reciprocate accordingly. You go to temple praying, my Lord, increase my business, give me more wealth. That's what people are trained in India. Uh, सुख संपत्ति घर आवे, कष्ट मिटे मन का, Om Jai Jagadish Hare. Everybody in India prays like that. I also prayed throughout my childhood. So what are people praying? Sukh Sampati Ghar Ave. My Lord, give me all the happiness, give me all the wealth, Sampati. Ghar Ave, let him come to my home. Kasht, my misery, you take that. Kasht mite man ka, Om Jai Jagadish Hare. Nobody worships today, my Lord, I want to serve you. Everybody worships that. Everybody goes to temple because this is what I want from you. Nobody leaves, nobody goes to temple, my Lord, I am yours. um, I want to develop my attraction towards you. I want to grow my love for you. I want to become your devotee. um, what else you want? I don't want anything else. I just want to become your servant. I just want to become your servant. Use me in whichever way you want to use me. I am yours. I surrender my life to you. Body, mind, and soul. I surrender my life to you. Um, so if you approach, like, there is a story of Maharaj Dhruva, Prahlad Maharaj, and great devotee. If you don't know the story, don't worry about it. In future, we will discuss. Prahlad Maharaj was a pure devotee of Lord, and Lord appeared in the form of Narsimha, half man, half lion form. And Lord Narsimha Dev asked Prahlad Maharaj, ask for a benediction. I am very pleased with your service. And Prahlad Maharaj told Narsimha Dev, my Lord, I have not worshipped you to do any business with you. I am not here to do some business with you. That I am worshipping you so that you can give me something. I don't want anything. I am your servant. I am worshipping you. And Narsimha Dev was so pleased. Was so pleased. And Prahlad Maharaj says, if at all you want to give me something, let me become your devotee. If I do not go back to God in this life, let me keep rendering devotional service unto you birth after birth, and let me have no other desire. Uh, Narsinga Dev had such a big smile for such a devotee like Prahlad Maharaj. Pure, pure devotees. So, okay. Now, Krishna says, Manushya Partha Sarvasa. All living entities are following my path. Are Christians and Muslims also following Krishna's path? Are they also? And the answer is yes. Otherwise, this verse will not be correct, and that is not possible. Everything Krishna says is absolute, it's perfect. Um, Nobody claimed that they are God. Um, Jesus Christ said, I am Son of God. Um, Muhammad said, I am representative of God. They all were messengers. They all were messengers who came to give God consciousness. Um, in fact, in our Vedic scriptures, in Bhavishya Puran, Muhammad and Jesus, both of their names come in the scriptures. That, see, Krishna is not partial to one place. Krishna sends his representatives all over where they are living entities to assist them, to help them to come back to him. Jesus Christ said, God has a name, his name is Christos. Christos. And Prabhupada said to Christians, you call God Christos, we call him Krishna, same thing. We are both referring to the same person, Krishna. In in Quran, in it is mentioned God is blue in color. It is mentioned there. Some, if you read, um, um, like we have separate presentation of how um, everyone is directly or indirectly worshipping Krishna, because Krishna says so. Krishna says, everyone is following my path, because Krishna made that arrangement for that particular place for the welfare of living entities there. Everyone is following my path. What about um, materialists? Are they also following Krishna's path? Those who are not at all interested in spiritual life, are they also following Krishna's path? Yes, because they are influenced by material energy of Krishna, um, Maya Shakti, and material energy of Krishna is Krishna's energy. Krishna says, Maya Adhyakshina Prakriti Suita Sacharacharam. Maya Adhyakshina, I am the superintendent of material energy. Mama Maya Duratyaya, my spiritual energy is very difficult to overcome, but it is working under my direction. So when somebody is following the path of Maya Shakti, illusory path, they are also following Krishna's path because Krishna created like that. Those souls who want to forget Krishna and who want to live life independent of spiritual life and God consciousness, all right, here is here is a way. We do like that. So either someone is following Krishna consciousness in different ways, or someone is following material energy created by Krishna. Everyone, no one is independent of Krishna. Everyone is following the arrangements made by Krishna. We have only one, we have free will, but we have only two choices. Either we surrender onto Maya Shakti or we surrender onto Krishna. This is the only two options we have. Both are Krishna's, um, one is Krishna personally, one is shadow of Krishna, Maya Shakti. So we have to follow Krishna this way or that way. There is no other choice. So that's like Manushya Partha Sarvasa. Everyone follows my path. Um, Path leading to me directly or indirectly in all respect. In fact, when Srila Prabhupada came here, Srila Prabhupada said to Christians, if you follow your path perfectly, you will also go back to Godhead. Because um, Jesus Christ was a bona fide representative of God. He came, everybody says the same thing. We are spirit, soul, this world is temporary, this world is, there is suffering in this world, the soul is eternal, soul is part and parcel of God. We have to render service to the Supreme Lord, and that's how we can escape the cycle of birth and death and go to kingdom of God. Muhammad said, I am representative of God. Jesus said, I am son of God. And they all came with the same motive to take us back. Every nation, continent has spirituality. It's not that Krishna is partial in any form or way. And they all speak the same thing. Just because of false ego, there is distinction. My path is better, I am better, um, I am better than you. Why false ego? False ego says whatever I am doing is right, whatever anybody else does is wrong. So if I am a Christian, then Christianity is the only way. If I am Muslim, Muslim is the only way. If I am this or that, we are the only way. What about others? They are going to hell. Everybody other than who is following my path are going to hell, so you follow me also. False ego. Because because of false ego, there is division. um, Srila Prabhupada, one devotee asked Srila Prabhupada, um, is Hindu better or Christianity? Prabhupada said both are same. In fact, Prabhupada said, we are not teaching people any sectarian religion, um, um, and making them and creating sects in the society. In fact, Srila Prabhupada said, if you practice Krishna consciousness and read Bhagavad Gita, you will become a sincere Christian. Um, Everyone is following the path of Krishna, and it requires a broader vision to be able to see that. But according to, um, um, just try to understand Bhagavad Gita clearly and sincerely, and all doubts will be vanquished. What about demigods, devatas? This is a very common, more detail on devatas in chapter 7 and chapter 12. In fact, there is such detail given by Krishna in those chapters that all doubts about devatas will be removed. But that is beyond the scope of today's discussion. Um, um, but in other words, those who are worshipping other devatas, no names, other devatas, they are also following Krishna's path. Now, some clarification is needed here, and that Krishna addresses in the next verse. Okay, Krishna says, those who are devotees of other gods and who worship them with faith actually worship only me, O son of Kunti, but they do so in a wrong way. So Krishna is telling those who are worshipper of other devatas, Krishna is telling they worship only me. It's continuation to the point that everyone is worshipping me. Uh, and then Krishna says, but they do so in a wrong way. That's not the right way of worship. To think, now this is a very sensitive and a very deep subject matter. I'm not sure to what extent we can discuss this subject matter here. To think, okay, let me still say, and I will be willing to take some questions. But even if you cannot fully understand, wait for 7 chapter to get a deeper clarity on the subject matter. But to think whether I worship Indra or Ganesh or any other personality, they are non-different from Krishna, um, or Jesus Christ or Muhammad or Krishna. They are all same. No, they are not same. They are different personalities. Just like saying me, my son, my spouse, my father, they are all same. They are not same. They are different personalities. Likewise, every personality is a unique personality. They all simultaneously exist. It's not one person expanded into many. Um, Krishna says in 7th chapter, those who worship other devatas, they get their desires fulfilled. If you worship any other devata, you will get your desire fulfilled. Like before I came to Krishna consciousness, I tried many things. I used to go to Art of Living course and used to do meditation, and I used to worship Lord Shiva, and I used to worship uh, Vaishno Devi. I used to go every year to Vaishno Devi in Katra, and um, um, there you have to walk 14 hours, and I used to go there and I used to pray, my Lord, give me good score in my college, give me admission into IIT, give me a job, give me this, give me that. Every year I would go, and so Krishna says people who worship other devatas, they worship because of material desires, basically. Nobody worship these devatas because they want to love them. They worship because of material desires. Um, and Krishna says whatever they quickly fulfill our material desires, but those desires, they quickly obtain their results for what they are praying. But those results comes from me alone. They worship me only, but they do so in a wrong way. Avidhi purvakam. Avidhi purvakam. Um, Krishna recommends direct worship. Now there is many concept in this section. It will be more elaborately explained in the 7th chapter. Uh, okay, and this is something. One more verse on this particular thing. Demigods. Men in this world desire success and fruitive activities. Fruitive activities is I need fame, I need position, I need wealth, etc. Fruitive activities. Fruit means activities performed because we are attached to the results of those activities. We are attached to the fruits of those activities. They are called fruitive activities. Men in this world desire success in fruitive activities. Krishna is telling people in this world are running after wealth, fame, position, power, and everything else. They desire, and therefore they worship the demigods. And that's why people worship demigods, um, because they want their material desires to be fulfilled quickly. Of course, men get results from fruitive work in this world. Quickly, of course, men get results from fruitive work in this world. And Krishna says by worshipping demigods they get their desires fulfilled. Even if you worship any baba, anybody you worship, your desires will be fulfilled. uh, um, okay, let us see if anyone has any question here. I think there will be many questions in this subject matter. If you have some question, I'll be happy to answer.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, I have a question.
Okay.
So, like, there are many festivals, Ganesh Puja, and that day we used to do puja of Ganesh Bhagwan, and then Saraswati Puja. Like, there are festivals where, like Shivratri, where we used to
Yes.
uh, um, do puja of Lord Shiva. So, is it like we can worship different gods, and I mean, is
Yeah.
it like we
Yeah.
can worship different gods as well as Krishna? And
Yeah. Well, there is nothing wrong in worshipping them. It is described the best way to worship them is, my Lord, make me devotee of Krishna. Don't worship them for material desires. Like I used to see in Diwali, people will worship uh, um, Lakshmi and Ganesh. So that if I worship Lakshmi on Diwali, the purpose of Diwali for them is make your home very clean so that my wealth can be doubled because Lakshmi will come. And Ganesh can remove any obstacles, so um, any obstacles so that my Lakshmi may be doubled. Um, these are impure forms of worship.
yes,
In fact, Krishna says there are four kinds of worshippers. One kind of people worship out of fear. Worship God, otherwise you will go to hell. That's the lowest form of worship. Out of fear, nobody can become a devotee. Second kind of worship is out of material desire. My Lord, these are my desires, please fulfill them. Third kind of worship is um, um, out of duty. My Lord, I belong to you. I am your part and parcel. You are my father and you are everything for me. I want to serve you. I want to become your instrument. That is very good. And the fourth kind of worship is out of love. Out of love. Now, this subject matter is very detailed. Again, the scope of 7 chapter. Um, okay, let me say something on this if it helps devotees. If it helps devotees, Shiva. Let me tell something about these personalities. Lord Shiva is actually expansion of comes from Sankarshan. He is actually um, um, expansion of Narayan in the spiritual world. In spiritual world, Shiva exists, and he is called by the name Sadashiv. Um, when he comes to this material world, Sadashiv turns into Shiva. People whom people usually worship is Shiva of the material world, not Sadashiv, who is expansion of Narayan. Sadashiv, Lord Shiva in this material world, lives on a planet called Kailash. Kailash is a mountain. We cannot see it. It's not the Kailash that we see on the Earth planet. It's beyond. Of course, I mean that's another detail. There is another planet where Lord Shiva lives. Um, the Kailash on Earth planet is a prototype of the original Kailash planet, which exists elsewhere in this universe. People who worship Lord Shiva and become very dear to Lord Shiva, they go to the Kailash planet and they live there. Brahma is he has a planet called Satyalok. Again, it's a topmost planet in this material world. Satyalok or Brahmalok or Brahmapuri, etc. Those who are devotees of Brahma, they go to Satyalok and they get association of um, Brahma. Those who worship Indra or Ganesh, they go to Swargalok which is after Earth planet, which is Bhulok. There is Bhuvalok and there is Swargalok. Swargalok is where heavenly devatas reside. Indra, Surya, Chandra. They are all Swargaloks. Um, um, so they go and reside in those planets. Basically, whichever personality we worship, we are given a chance to associate with them, serve them, and develop a deeper relationship with them. And we are transferred to the where these personalities reside. But because all these planets are still within this material universe, every planet starting from Brahma Lok down to Patal Lok, every planet is temporary because material world is temporary by nature. By worshipping those who are within the purview of this material world, one cannot become liberated because their influence is within this universe. Just like we say Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva, we are talking about this material world. We are talking about one who is creating, one who is maintaining, one who is destroying. All of them exist within this material world, but Lord Vishnu is not a personality of this material world. He is completely transcendent. Um, um, Anybody we worship other than Vishnu, um, we cannot get liberation, but we will go to their planet and we serve them. Um, Only Narayan can give liberation because whatever we have heard from Hindu philosophy is limited to this material world. Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva. From Brahma comes Kashyap Muni and Aditi. From Kashyap Muni and Aditi comes um, Indra, Surya. From Shiva and Parvati comes Ganesh. So, starting with Brahma, from the forehead of Brahma comes Shiva, and it continues. And Brahma is the first living entity within this material universe, and um, everything expanded from Brahma. Manu came from Manu. There is a whole discussion on creation in Shrimad Bhagavatam, complete discussion. Um, Beyond the scope of today's discussion, maybe in sometime in future we can discuss in detail about each personalities. Um, that's why Krishna uses the word, it's not the right way to worship me out of compassion. Because if we worship, we still remain within this material universe. But if we understand the teachings of Bhagavad Gita and worship Supreme Personality of Godhead, uh, then we can escape. That's what Krishna says in this verse we discussed before. Janma karma cha me divyam evam yo vitatata tattva deham punarjanma naiti mamyati so Arjuna. That person who worships me does not take birth again in this material universe. Now, Soumya Mataji, did I answer your question? Was it helpful?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay. So it's okay to worship any other personality also, just in a right way. Um, in fact, one devotee told my spiritual master Maharaj, I am a great devotee of Lord Shiva. And Maharaj said, by the mercy of Lord Shiva, you are sitting in this temple today. And I personally also feel that because I was a devotee of Lord Shiva brought me to Krishna. Vaishnavanam Yatha Shambhu. Shambhu is Lord Shiva. He's a Shambhu Tattva. Vaishnavanam Yatha Shambhu. Srimad Bhagavatam explains, among all Vaishnavas, the topmost Vaishnava is Shambhu. Even if you go to Vrindavan, the first temple you worship is Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva is very dear to me, myself also. Um, there are many stories. It's just at this point of time, it's beyond. We are falling short of time also. We have 4 minutes. Um, um, okay, let's see if anyone else has any other question before we go to the next. Okay, so there are some questions. Why people worship devatas? Material desires. Do they get the results? Yes. Krishna says quickly. They get the results quickly. And we discuss these 4 stages of worship: out of fear, desire, duty, and out of love. Okay. So, Krishna's mercy, we have come to the end of this section, and we will begin um, the removing reaction, how to become free from sinful reactions. We will start this next week. Um, if there are no questions, we can end here. Okay, so let's end here. Vancha kalpatarubhasya kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Um, Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.